Hi everyone, just riding home. This is October the 27th, 2020, and the story that I wanted to tell today is not really a story, but it just has to do with something called a Russian olive tree. So when we lived in the trailer park in Mountain Home, Idaho, back behind the trailer park and a little bit just imagine, you go to the back of the trailer park, it's a desert like I've said before, and then if you turn to the left, then there's a farmer's field that makes up the left side of the trailer park. There's a fence there, and the trailer park is right up next to that field. But you could walk, if you turn left when you got to the back of the trailer park, you could walk in the desert along the farmer's fence, and it was all desert. The thing about Idaho was that they had very, very rich soil, but you had to water your fields in order for stuff to grow. Otherwise, all you could grow was sagebrush and that cheatgrass that I talked about yesterday. But anyway, if you walked left along this fence, eventually, and it probably wasn't very far, maybe a quarter of a mile, there was a cattle pond that someone had put there, and I suppose at one point they had grazed cattle there, and they used that pond to water them. And this pond wasn't very big. It might be as big as, I was just thinking about Daphne. The pond was probably as big as the lot that Daphne sits on. But around it there were some trees, and one of those trees is a tree called a Russian olive tree. They're not particularly beautiful trees. Their trunks and branches are kind of gnarled. They don't grow in nice straight lines. Their leaves are narrow and maybe 2 inches long, and they're just kind of pointy, and they don't have a very bright green color. It's more of a light green color on one side on the top, and like a gray color underneath. And so then you may be asking yourself, okay, we're bored. Why is he telling us about this? And I just want to tell you that, so a couple of weeks a year, this Russian olive tree blooms, and it has these delicate little white flowers. Unless you look up close, you can't even see them. But when it's blooming, it gives off this smell that's like sweet baby powder smell. And it's just the most beautiful smell in the world. And every time I smell it, it takes me back to being a kid, sort of with no cares, no worries, and living in Mountain Home, Idaho, and back to that cattle pond. And I didn't even realize this was a thing for me until I was in college, a good 6 or 7 years later, and I went somewhere with somebody, and we went over to western North Dakota, I believe it was, or sorry, it would have been eastern North Dakota, and I smelled this smell, and I thought, what in the world is that? And then after, figuring it out, thinking about it, and narrowing it down, I realized there was these Russian olive trees. Now, unfortunately, Russian olive trees don't grow in North Carolina. The climate's wrong. But I was gonna say, for anybody who wants to, that they do grow in Minnesota, and they do grow in sort of dry regions, and they're kind of solitary trees. But if you look up and see where you can find them, because here's the challenge: not everyone can smell the blooms of a Russian olive tree. Only certain people can. I'm not saying it makes those of us who can special. You can make up your own mind. But anyway, to see if you can smell them, and if you like this smell. And again, you're going to have to wait, because it's only in the spring, and it's only for a couple of weeks that they bloom, and they put off this smell. So anyway, that's my thought on Russian olive trees. Okay, see ya. Love you.